5:03, and I've made a new commitment to myself. Oh, 5:03 my time. I've made a new commitment to myself that I will let you all go in 60 minutes. I'll really try to keep this up. I know because we got our East Coasters on the call, we got our West Coasters on the call, and I want folks to be able to enjoy their dinner and take care of themselves. Speaking of the word care, the word care is going to be a big point or a big topic for this evening's discussion or afternoon's discussion, mattering on which coast you're on. So I'm going to start off with our check-in question first. While more people are hopping in, I just checked, we had 65 signups. So I think more people will hop in as we go on. But I wanted to ask folks if they could put in the chat, what is one way you'll be taking care of yourself this week? It's just Wednesday. There's still Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have 4 days left. And I know that you all are across many different places, probably in many different organizations, doing many different types of work. So if you could put into the chat, one, your name, two, where you're calling from, and thirdly, how you're going to show yourself some care this weekend. It can be from going to the library. Oh, for me, I have a nap scheduled at 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's in my Google Calendar. Yes, it is, just to make sure I do it because I know I should. So feel free. Dog sitting. Oh, that's lovely, Ellen. Oh my gosh. So for folks who just hopped on, we're asking people to share in the chat how you're going to be taking care of yourself for the rest of the week if there's one thing you have planned to do. Oh, grand dog. I'll be taking my grand dog for morning walks in a nearby park. I love that. Visiting a gallery to see the exhibit. Love it. Meditation and walking. Oh my gosh, love it. Oh yeah. Long shower, Eileen. After this week, yeah, you deserve it. You very much so deserve it. Water broken? Oh no. And thank you all so much for putting where you're calling from. This is a big call. And I see new people hopped on too. Hi, Lydia. It's great to see you. Okay, a little party. Spending time with grandkids. Hi, Judith. I see New Jersey on the call, San Francisco, Boston, Vermont, LA, Tucson, Portland. Okay, I'm reading the rest of these. Oh my gosh. I love tea. That sounds awesome. Taking naps, meditation class, reading, journaling. Oh, okay. Tai Chi, Julie. Period. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, y'all have so many things happening. I'm happy I asked this question because we're going to talk about a couple of things tonight that all revolve around care. This month at Wolf, we're going to be focusing on, and we're going to get into it, caring for one another in multiple ways. And we're actually going to spotlight a lovely Wolf member on the call here to have even a deeper conversation around how we can have conflict and keep care at the center of our organizing, even in conflict, even in moments where things pop up, which they do, because Wolf women, we are very opinionated. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to head over to this presentation that I have. There we go. And this was the question here. I'm going to skip it though, because folks have already said yes. And as I keep going, I'm going to let people in. So if you see me stopping for a second to let more people into the room, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, also, I skipped a slide as well. We have a couple new people on the call, folks that just joined Wilf. So I'm super happy you're here. This is our all member meetings. This is open to all of our members, new folks who've been here for decades. And we talk about some of the stuff that Wilf has got going on behind the scenes, some things folks can plug into, and more. We're going to record this because we send out the recording to everyone. And if you have questions or comments, put them in the chat because I have now become an expert at this. This is like my 12th meeting. It's my 12th meeting or 13th meeting. I don't know. I'm not keeping score, but I'm just saying I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I can take a look at the chat. I can also respond to things at the same time as I'm talking. So I've got a lot better. Okay, I've got a lot better. So if you ever have questions or if you ever have something you want to say, I will see it and I'll be able to talk about it. So just letting you know. Okay, then also captions are on, but they're not always correct. I've heard in meetings before that like I don't know what they're saying and that didn't sound right. I hear you. Yeah, it might have not been right. They're on, but they might not be accurate. So just apologies in advance. If there's something you didn't hear, put it in the chat so I can make sure I get back to you afterwards or repeat it to you later, whatever. And then also, I'm gonna start sending out a feedback form that people can give me feedback through. So it'll be soon after the meeting. And I'm curious to know your thoughts. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Thank you for answering that check-in question. I hope you all find ways to take care of yourselves as you continue on throughout this week. There are so many things and issues to work on. We have a couple new member shout outs here. That's what I said when there's new people on the call today. We had three new Jane Addams members in the month of January. We had one new San Jose member in the month of January, another new member in New York City, two new members in DC, and then two new members as well in Portland, Oregon. So tons of stuff happening right now. I saw the hand raise, Virginia. So tons of things happening all across the country. As we continue on, and as you all come into this role, we're going to talk about this as well with ways you can recruit new people. But there's also prizes that go along with these recruitments so people can feel like their work is being appreciated. So if you attend these meetings and you refer someone to WILF, we have prizes as well for folks who attend them and also are part of the referrals. We have four books that we've been giving out to people, most of them actually written by WILF members. So, The Life of Libby, written by Libby Frank and Heather Schaefer, both both was a WILF member. Libby and Heather is a current member. The Blue Maroon Murder by Glow, our Tucson friend, also a WILF member, a book on a lovely, lovely organizer, Edith Une Femme de Pas. I don't speak French. I wish I did. I know we have a we. I wish I did. I wish I did. But it's by one of our lovely Regina Bertram, who also is a Wilf member, and then Most Dangerous Woman by Jan Maher, another book that is offered to folks as well. If they refer new members, they come to these meetings and we send them out to you. Okay. I'm going to go to the next slide, which means the more people you recruit, the better the prizes. So for folks who recruit so many people that were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." There's also shirts for folks too. I have one of these shirts in my house. It's very cute. The blue one is the one I have. The light blue one, not the dark blue one. Both great though. Okay. And I know for some folks, you've already gotten this spiel 40 times, but I go through it anyway because I feel like people should know that there's so many things that come from these meetings, you coming, helping us get more folks into it. But we want to make sure that we're creating a space where it's not just about us asking Wolf members to find other people. That's not what this space is on. Sometimes it can be a little bit. We also love for people to learn together. We love to learn together as a group and find ways to just be in existence with one another, where we're just thinking of new ways to do this kind of work, to do this type of organizing. So I have a special conversation planned with one of our own, Emily Franco. Now, I don't know if you all know who this person is. I'm going to stop. You better. You better know because Emily is fantastic. I'm going to stop sharing really quickly. And when I say you might not know, it's because this might be the person that you have been emailing to submit an e-news article to, but you've never met them and you don't know where this goes. It just goes out into the internet, and somehow, some way, this person named Emily posts them every month, every month, posting tens of hundreds of e-newsletter articles. It's wild. So I'm excited because one of the faces you'll be able to see is that very person that you all submit those newsletter submissions to, Emily. Um, I'm going to spotlight the two of us really quick, and then I'm going to get into a conversation and tell you a little bit more about why I invited Emily here to talk with us today. So I'm going to spotlight the two of us. Ooh, spotlighted. And then Emily. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Hello. You don't have to say anything, but hello.
It's so I'm so rarely spotlighted on a Zoom call. This is just so funny.
Well, I'm very happy I could. I want to share with everyone that this month at WILF, given that it is almost Valentine's Day, we are focusing on love and not the fluffy kind, okay? Not the fluffy kind. It's about the real values-driven kind of love that we can show up with even when things get uncomfortable, even in moments of tension. When this organizing work gets super hard, how can we show love for each other and for ourselves? So I'm really excited to invite Emily here. Emily works with a really awesome organization called the Conflict Center. It's a group of people who literally do just that, help folks navigate conflict, but with care and accountability and all of those things intertwined that make conversations really lovely to be a part of and also very fulfilling, I think. So, Emily, thank you so much for being here. I would love to start with possibly your story. Would you introduce yourself, maybe a little bit more about your work with the Conflict Center? And why you chose Wilf to help with so much. You do so much for us all the time. That's the big question, but I'm curious to know your why Wilf story.
Thank you, Shelby. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this conversation and for having me tonight. Yeah, so as Shelby said, I'm the newsletter editor with Wilf. I've been with Wilf for just over a year. I think my first newsletter that I was editor for was the February newsletter of last year. Um, so yeah, just about a year. And I've been with the Conflict Center since the summer, so it hasn't been too long. A friend of mine was involved and said, "Hey, I think you might really enjoy this and be good at it, and feel aligned with it." Um, and so I'm an instructor there, and so I facilitate classes throughout the Denver. I live in Denver, so throughout the Denver area. So far, I've only worked with youth, but we also work with adults, and I might be doing that upcoming soon. But yeah, why Wilf? I've been involved in peace activist spaces before and just obviously know the important work that they're doing. And unfortunately, it's becoming more and more obvious every day why it's important. And I've always been a systems thinker, kind of big picture thinker, and was really drawn to Wilp's um, kind of historical and political and social analysis of the way that these systems that we live in intersect and impact each other. Um, so yeah, I was really drawn to that in Wilp's particular work. And along with that, have always loved writing and editing. I was always the person in college who was editing everyone else's papers. And I try my best to align my skills and what I love to do with my values and how I want to show up in the world and what I want to offer. So I'm not necessarily the person who like loves being out there like on the bullhorn. Like you probably will never hear me be that person. But I know that there's other ways I can show up and lend my skills to what I care about. So this felt like a way to do that.
I am also not the bullhorn type of person. I am not necessarily going to be behind the bullhorn, but I'd be down to make a flyer, do something like that, whatever. So I'm happy you found that in Wolf, where you can come as you are. So I'm happy to know how the Conflict Center kind of open to you. And I know that it's a nonprofit that equips communities with the skills to communicate effectively, navigate conflict. Can you tell us more about why that work is so important in the organizing spaces that the Willful Men on this call are in currently? Um, Especially with so many issues happening around the world as a multi-issue organization at that, how could knowing those skills help us as Wolf members?
Yeah, absolutely. So the slogan of the Conflict Center is conflict is inevitable, violence is not. So the obviously like there's a lot of alignment there with WILF and other like peace activist spaces, trying to, prevent violence from the world and stop violence from happening. So with the Conflict Center, the way I see it is we're really trying to intervene in that space between conflict and violence. And as I say that, it's kind of like reminiscent of that. I think it's Viktor Frankl quote that I'm going to very much paraphrase about between stimulus and response, there is a space, and our power lies in that space. Um, and we're always going to have conflict because we're human beings and we have different ideas about the world, different ways we've been shaped by it. This world is so complex, and when we're in these spaces of organizing and activism, we're often working with people who are different from us, like in coalition with them. Um, so yeah, just a little bit about, why it's specifically important in places like WILF. Um, my personal belief is that going back to that slogan around conflict is inevitable, violence is not. Conflict becomes violence when we cannot tolerate the discomfort that the conflict or dissonance causes within us. And I want to name too that that orientation comes from a lot of people and teachers that I've learned from, specifically more kind of spiritual oriented teachers. Um, I've followed over the years Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams and Lamarad Owens, and then also spaces that movement spaces that also focus on a more embodied lens, like people like Stacey K. Haynes and Resmaa Menakem. And I'm happy to share these names later if people want to look into them. But yeah, I just wanted a name that's informed. Their work has informed a lot of my orientation around conflict and in this way. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think it becomes violence when we can't tolerate some kind of emotion within ourselves. Maybe that's anger, maybe that's grief, heartbreak. And so we offshoot it onto someone else. So I personally am really, really passionate about creating spaces where we can drop into the interpersonal and intrapersonal work behind conflict, bringing awareness to what's happening within ourselves and working with whatever that is and relating to it in a way that doesn't lead to violence. Because I come from a place of believing that all these systems outside of us that activists are working to dismantle also live inside of us. That might not be everyone's orientation here, and that's totally fine. But that's the place I'm coming from. So to bring that into reality a little bit, the way I think about it is I have been impacted by systems like empire and white supremacy and patriarchy. I have been wounded by them in many ways, and we're all our wounds around them are all different depending on the identities that we carry. And at the same time, I carry the capacity to carry out those systems in my relationships. And if I'm not doing the work to examine where those systems live within me, I'm probably going to perpetuate them in some way in my relationships, even if I don't mean to. And even if I'm working with a person that has a shared goal of, let's say dismantling capitalism, but if I'm not doing that work to find where I've internalized capitalism, I'm probably going to um, live the values of capitalism out in some way in my relationships because that's how I've been conditioned. We've all been conditioned in these systems. So yeah, I think social change work that isn't also addressing our inner and our interpersonal landscapes as we do this work is ultimately limited. Not, I mean, still like so necessary, but just for me, incomplete because we're co-creating the world we live in all of the time. So that was a lot. I hope that
No,
makes sense.
no, thank you. I I resonate with everything you said. And I think I might have to also, the reason I asked the original question was not just because of what I'm trying to celebrate with Wolf Women this month about being compassionate and showing love by being in community and in sisterhood and solidarity with one another. I also know that this year has been already really, really hard, and it feels as if it's just going to get harder. And we're going to have conflict. We're going to see conflict in these circles that we're in. And it can be small bits of conflict, whether it's like the color of a flyer, which WILF logo color do you want to use? It can be even moments like that, or it can extend that and be based off another thing. It just conflict is going to happen. And I'm sure a lot of folks on the call already know that in peace circles, even ones at Wolf, conflict can come up. So I heard your why, and I think that's awesome. What are some of the tools or mindsets that we can incorporate, not just through the rest of the month, but forever, that can help us handle conflict without losing that kindness or respect for one another?
Yeah. Um, I'll give a couple practical tools and then um like a larger mindset shift, I guess. The first one that we talk about in some of our classes is I statements. This is a very practical tool that comes up a lot in conflict education, and maybe some of you know what this is, and maybe you don't. For anyone who doesn't, the concept of an I statement is that when we engage in conflict, we use statements that start with I instead of you. So rather than saying, you did this thing or you made me feel this way, you say, I felt blank, insert emotion, when this thing happened because. Like an example could be, I felt annoyed when our plans changed at the last minute because having plans helps me feel safe. Um, so there's a way in which you can sit there in the midst of conflict and do um, the mental and grammatical gymnastics to turn what you really want to say to that person into an I statement. And sometimes that's, the best you can do in the moment, in the heat of conflict, because one thing we talked about in the class is how when we're feeling angry, our prefrontal cortex actually goes offline. So we have to like make a concerted effort to kind of come back into our body with regulation techniques, um, and into our brain, to bring the prefrontal cortex back online. Um, and so, yeah, there is a formula to it. But what I really love about I statements is that they invite us to take real responsibility for how we are feeling in whatever the conflict is or conversation that we're having, and not off-gas those feelings onto someone else, like I talked about before. So that's something to play with, I statements. Another one that comes to mind is rain checks. I think rain checks are a really underutilized tool in conflicts. For those of you who aren't familiar with that term, rain checks are when we say, "Hey, I can tell this is not a good time for me to have this conversation because I'm feeling too activated or distracted or whatever it may be. Can we come back to it tomorrow or some other agreed upon time?" And I love rain checks because they give us the space to use tools to, again, regulate our nervous system and come back into our bodies a bit if we're feeling heated. And I also love rain checks because it's a demonstration of wanting to stay in relationship in the midst of conflict. Because to me, when you take a rain check, you're actually signaling, hey, I really care about this relationship, so I want to show up in a good space to have this conversation. You're signaling that you're more concerned about tending to the relationship than winning the argument right then and there. You're more concerned about staying in relationship than dominating or steamrolling over someone else. Um, and rain checks, it's not just a way out. It's not a way to, bypass the conversation. When you take a rain check, you're responsible for following up, is something that we talk about. Um, so yeah, rain checks, great. I love talking about them in the conflict courses. Um, and I think a common theme through both of these are regulation techniques. And I think one thing that the Conflict Center does really well that I would love to see kind of ripple out into like movement spaces more, and that work is happening, is just having an orientation towards conflict that includes our nervous systems. Um, and just having a more, yeah, nervous system oriented and in a way, I guess in that way, kind of trauma informed orientation towards conflict, because I think that opens up new ways of being together in conflict. Um, that takes us out of like a win-lose mentality, I guess you could say. Um, and then the last thing that I want to talk about for this question that feels really, really important is uh, the larger mindset shift from righteousness to curiosity. Um, I've seen so much righteousness in activism spaces. I'm sure many of you have seen the same. And, people are righteous for very good reasons because they're fighting for things that they care about. They're fighting for justice and peace, which is such important work. And to me, it feels like righteousness can really get in the way of relating to each other in this work, deepening the relationships with people that we're organizing with. And in the worst cases, I've actually seen it justify violence against people that we say that we're working against, um, and just perpetuate the ways of being in the world we say we're trying to dismantle. And maybe some of you have seen the same. So I think leading from curiosity rather than righteousness is really hard because it requires us to put our egos aside. We have to put aside our commitment to being right. We have to put aside our desire to convince the other person um, that what we're saying is the right thing. And it takes a lot of personal reflection and also a lot of love and trust for ourselves and the belief that my personal worth is not contingent upon convincing the other person of this thing. My personal worth is not contingent upon winning this argument. Um, and so when we enter a conflict or a conversation from that place, I think there's a real genuine opportunity for transformation and like real change to take place. Um, and with that, we have to be willing to be changed, not just to change other people, um, which is really hard.
Very hard.
And I'm realizing too, the sun is setting and my lighting's not great, so I'm sorry if I'm getting darker on screen.
Oh my gosh, no worries. No worries. That was so beautifully said. Wow. Okay. I have one more question for you. I had another question too, but I feel like we really got deep to like how we're gonna keep love and this purpose and our organizing work through the last two questions I asked. So I'm gonna head to the last one, which was for folks on the call, I know you probably did it, but we had a survey that we had last year, and a lot of you responded, and a lot of folks wanted to see something different, which was creating a culture of care here at WILF, creating a community of care where we not only care for folks online, but offline. And the way we communicate with each other is just how Emily described it, with curiosity versus assuming assumptions, anything in between. So I want to get into a program that we're going to be launching, or a campaign we're going to be launching, in a sense, a drive we're going to be launching after this conversation with Emily, where we're going to be asking folks to invite friends and family members to join WILF this month. So, knowing that we're trying to create this culture of care here, Emily, what's one thing you'd hope that a WILF member would share with this person they're trying to recruit or maybe bring into the fold about the community we're trying to build? What makes that culture of care, I guess, so important and special to bring someone into? That's my question. I know I was a handful,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
a lot.
um, and yeah, I think what I hope someone would share is that yeah, that WILP is centering that culture of care, alongside, I don't necessarily want to say make it a hierarchy, but alongside like the issues and topics that WILP is working on, and that they're do they're putting the effort into the interpersonal work that creates like a fabric of relationships, um, that I'm gonna mix metaphors here, but that's nurturing the soil of that the work for peace and justice is coming out of. Because when the soil is good, like the stuff that comes out of it is gonna grow well. If that makes sense.
It
Um,
does.
there's there was one more thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah, just like, and in that work, it's about staying in relationship in the midst of conflict, and that WILF is coming from an orientation that relational work is not separate from the work for peace and justice. That's more like issue or topic related. That relational work and, being a feminist organization is often feminized work and therefore undervalued. But to me, it really is, um, the fabric, the soil, pick the imagery that makes sense to you. That the more external work, grows out of, and that makes that external work successful. So I guess in summary, I'll say to make it a little bit more succinct is that Wilf is invested in nurturing the soil, um, not just like tending to the plants, if that makes sense.
That definitely makes sense. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
it
This
so
was
much. Oh
so
my
fun.
gosh.
It was so fun
Oh,
to
thank
like
you.
articulate these things that like I care about them so deeply and sometimes I don't know, not everyone wants to talk about this stuff. So I appreciate everyone's, attention and the opportunity to chat.
Well, of course, I mean, if we don't take care of, I know we're going to be taking care of the plant itself. We're multi-issue. You all have spent a lot of January out in the streets. Like I've seen work that you all have been doing out there in the community. If we're not also taking care of the soil, when we're tending to ourselves and making sure we're caring for one another, then a lot of things can fall through the cracks, especially our own mental health. So I'm happy that Emily's here because Emily can put these words much more eloquently than I can. So thank you, Emily. And I hope everyone can give Emily a round of applause in the chat. Uh, you can't hear it, but you can't hear it,
I
but
can hear it. I'm imagining it. Thank you. And
oh, okay, good.
I see all the little
Okay,
reactions. So
okay.
I'm
I see
definitely
letters. Okay.
it's being received. So thank you so much. And thank you all for the
Okay.
work that you're doing. I get to read about it every month, which is a gift in and of itself. So thank you.
I'm so happy you can put a face to the name. This is
Yeah.
Emily,
Now
the
you know what I
person you
look
all are
like.
emailing every month.
And who
That's so
who
funny.
you receive emails from probably at annoying frequency reminding you to send in your articles. So thank
Look,
you.
I don't know if we know the article due date for February, but you can announce it real quick. If you know, I
Oh
don't know. Do you
shoot.
know?
I was actually gonna send out the email tomorrow. I want to say it's the 21st. It's whatever that Saturday is, but I'm sending out an email tomorrow about it. So stay tuned for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
They'll see it there. Oh, well, thank you, Emily. Thank you
Thanks,
so much for
Shelby.
being here. Yay. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that we have this chat or this opportunity because I'm gonna remove spotlight so we can all see each other because we're going to shift gears slightly. It all connects, but before we head into our big topic of the night, we also had a couple of pieces not campaign updates and some new tools. So we're going to shift gears really quick, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to Linda for this one.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, Shelby. I don't know if Emily's still on, but I want to say what a gift that was. And I saw the comments in the chat because Emily, I only get to interact with you from a newsletter perspective. And so to hear this like wise Buddha wisdom emanating from you is so beautiful. And I want to spend more time with you, is I guess what I'll say. So, having said all that, yeah, I'm here to give you a couple of quick updates about the Pieces Not campaign, and then I'm going to roll into sort of one of the bigger focus topics of today. I'm actually going to share my screen real quick. So, I know you spotlighted me, Shelby, but I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if that
All
affects
right.
my sharing ability.
I think you should
Um,
be still. Yep. I
cool.
unspotted lighted you just in case.
Okay, cool. So by now, hopefully, well, actually, I'm going to kind of stop sharing and I'm going to do an informal poll. By way of hands, who here has heard of the updated Pieces Not campaign? Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Fantastic. Well, thank you for reading our emails. Um, as some of you know, we launched the first edition of the Pieces Not campaign last October, and it was received so well. And you asked us to reboot it, but hyper focused on current issues that are affecting us all. And so, as most of you know, or I saw many of you in the Zoom room share that you've heard of it. I don't know if you've seen the updated version. I did also share this at the last all member meeting. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just want to give you a couple quick updates. If you've been to the campaign page on our website, everything is there for you in terms of an overview of what the updated campaign is about, the 9 focus areas, everything from ICE to Gaza to the war economy, you name it. And want to just call out that um, all of these graphics are available to you, remind you in both black and white and color for use at protests and on tabling events and social media, however, wherever you want them. And we'll put the link to these in the chat. I don't know if Shelby, you can. If you can't, I can later.
Yeah. Hmm.
You've already seen all these, I know, or I think you have, again, across the different topics, ranging from the environment to Gaza to Iran to Venezuela to racial equity, you name it. And of course, looming large in our minds, ICE. What's new is some of you said, you know what, we go into our communities and we do tabling events where we invite folks to tell us what they think peace is. So some of you said, can you design a template where we can print it on our home computer and like bring these and invite kids, invite families to grab a marker, a pen, and tell us what peace is. So these have also been uploaded. They're available in multiple colors. We know most of us print in black and white, so that's why there's the black and white version, but there's also color versions if you want them. These are also all available for download. Sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place here, for download on this webpage, this campaign webpage. And somebody said to me, where on the page? You just have to scroll farther down. So I don't know if it's possible to put this campaign page in the chat, Shelby. If not, I'll do it later. But when you get to this page, just scroll down to the bottom. It's long. And this is where you can download all these images. Just click download and you'll get pushed to a folder where you can download everything. Also, somebody said to me, where are the key messages or the social media texts? That's right here. You can hit download here as well. And that's going to push you to this document, which just kind of gives a much more deeper dive, contextual overview, and also deep dive messaging on each of these issues. So, for ICE, I'm only going to just show you the first topic because this is an 18-page document. There's messaging around here from everything like peace is not a deportation pipeline. American policies U.S. policies are destabilizing countries across Latin America, forcing people to flee, and then arresting them and deporting them. It's like this endless cycle. So there's all kinds of other key messages here you can use if you want to. You don't have to, but we're making these available to you. I think also, if you're using these tools, please share photos with us. I know No Kings 3 is happening at the end of the month, and I know Shelby's going to be sending out information about that, but we encourage you to get out there with these graphics, either the old campaign graphics or the new ones if you want. And if you have questions about them, let us know and keep giving us your feedback because we want to keep building tools that you can use and are valuable to you. And I think that's the quick update I wanted to share, Shelby.
Yay, thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, I know that we also have a couple, I guess I'll go back to the presentation. We chatted with Emily, did a little campaign update. Okay. And now I guess I do hand it back to you, Linda. I'm so sorry. I'm so excited to share. Well, you'll share. Valentine's Day recruitment drive. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, I forgot that was the order. Okay, so hi again. Want
Here, I'm
to
going to
give,
stop sharing.
give a shout out to Shelby, to Eileen, chair of the membership committee, to Alice, a young Wilfer who's on the team helping us with design, etc. And just everyone who's been involved in basically the understanding that as our movement grows, our collective power grows. And the moment we're in, that's what we need right now. More voices at the table, united, activating, advocating, however you want to, because our democracy is in decline. And so with that, I want you to know, Shelby and I get this gift of we actually get an email alert every time somebody new joins WILP, or maybe somebody that was away from WILP for a while and has come back. We actually see that come in. And it's been so magical to see our movement grow. Like literally every second day, every week, somebody is coming back or somebody new. So if you've been here with us for a while, thank you for staying with us. If you're new, thank you for joining us. Um, and again, I want to lean into that messaging. Why does growing wealth matter now? More collective voices. And so with the membership committee, we decided to make February Valentine's Recruitment Month because organizing is love from our perspective. And so what we've done is we created a couple of tools that we're going to be sharing with you by email tomorrow. And we encourage you to, I know you're already doing it, but connect with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your networks, whether they're faith communities or like the local community center, wherever you show up. We invite you to introduce them to WILF as part of our member recruitment drive. And so with that, I'm going to share my screen, and we have created 2 tools that we're going to email to you, as I said, tomorrow. And so I'm speaking collectively. Pretend this is me and Shelby with one voice right now speaking with you about the member recruitment drive, and Eileen. So I'm representing 3 voices right now, and the committee, the membership committee. So Valentine's month is here. And we just talked about organizing as love, or I just said organizing as love. So we want to use this month as a way to mobilize and bring more people in, turn care into courage and our connection into collective power. This connection, this culture of care that we're building together into this collective power. And I've already said a little bit, but I'll say it again. Why is growing wealth now important? It's interesting. It is, we used to talk about it a lot in my early days about, well, because WILF is such a historical organization, we can't let it slip away. And now the reasons are different. Now the language is because we need more of us mobilizing together to fight for our democracy. Because it's under attack, our rights are being eroded. So the more of us that mobilize together, the stronger we can resist authoritarianism. I'm using my mouse, I hope you can see it. The more of us that are mobilizing together at WILF means more justice, more voices shaping justice and peace. And the more of us that mobilize together at WILF, the more people we bring in with us means a deeper, more resilient movement. And so when we grow, our power to act grows. So what I'm sharing with you right now is literally a 4-page PDF, and we're literally calling it a tips sheet for members. For all of you, for me, for Shelby, as we're out here in the month of February, again, really want to invite you to embrace this member recruitment drive, this Valentine's member recruitment drive, because organizing is love, and the more of us that come together, the more powerful we'll be. This document includes, I love this picture, Shelby, of you and Barbara, and includes like a few quick tips, stuff you already know, right, on how to invite people into the community and meet them where they are. So we're not like sales. That's not us. We're about inclusion, opening more pathways and more doors to get involved in the action together. Things like the Peace Is campaign that we just launched, Peace Like the Tribunal on Gaza that we're moving forward with, things like School of Peace and Freedom, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in a minute. But we also wanted to come up with some cool package as part of this recruitment drive. So we're going to be emailing you a link to a special new member Valentine's Month referral form. And that's a special link where if somebody new joins, they'll say who referred you, and hopefully they'll type your name. And if they type your name, for every time your name gets entered, you'll be entered into a draw. A special Valentine's WILF package with ethically sourced chocolates, some pretty cool WILF goodies. Some of them will have our updated logo on it. And that's going to be a package built with love. And so the more people you recruit, the more times your name gets entered into this draw. So we just wanted that to be a cute sort of like incentive package. But essentially, we've also, in this tip sheet for you, this is meant for you, the members, not to share with your friends and networks, but this tip sheet is just hopefully, an all-in-one sort of helpful tool It closes with this like, why join Wolf? In case we all have such powerful stories. We need to tell those stories. But if a friend of yours is like, listen, give it to me in 1 minute. Well, here's like 5 key reasons, be part of our global feminist movement for peace. We're active in 40 countries. You can access campaigns with us, action alerts, events, so you can act when it matters. You can organize on your own terms with your friends, right? In our bylaws, a WILP group can be as small as 3 people, me and 2 friends. Or you can just join in anytime on a campaign, even if you're not an official member. And with them in one of our virtual communities, there's so many ways to mobilize with us. If you become a formal member, you all know you can vote, help shape strategy. And this is the most important part here. Whether you're new to activism or bringing decades of experience, you belong here. Because we're living in a time right now where a lot of people who haven't considered themselves activists, they're out there now. I can't tell you how many people I know that for the first time are hitting the streets in protest. It's kind of an uncomfortable place for them. There's a lot of social justice warriors here that on this Zoom call that have been doing this work for years, but there's people that are new to it. So we want to say, we're your activist home, no matter where you are on your social justice journey. And so the other thing I want to share with you, in case if you do have someone that's interested and wants to learn more, we've also created a tool for you that you can give to them as well. Again, not like a hard sell, just like, hey, here's some information if you want it. And I'm going to share my screen again. Our young Wilt for Alice, who's wonderful, she designed, this is not finalized, it's going to look a little bit different, but I wanted to give you a preview. She created this 2-page membership brochure, right? And this is something some of you have been asking for us for. And we tend to give like, here's a 20-page document, which nobody has time to read. So what we've done is in a 2-pager, we've created, some really good information and compelling reasons as to why someone can join us and why we can be their activist home. So this is something you can print on your home printer. You can email it to somebody. You can print it on your home printer in black and white. It works well in black and white too, or in color to hand out at a tabling event or wherever you are in community. So now I just really wanted to show this because this is another resource, another tool that we want to make available to you. You can use this now as part of the Valentine's Recruitment Month or later. So, after February, we're going to scrub the language Valentine's, but this will still be our membership recruitment sort of backgrounder to sort of help you spread the word if you feel so inclined. And so that is our Valentine's Month member recruitment drive that we're launching. And I guess, Shelby, maybe if anybody has questions, we're happy to answer it. But if
Please,
not,
yes.
then happy to cede the floor back to you.
Thanks, Linda. Linda, that brochure is so cute. It's so cute. I love her. Oh my gosh. So I'm definitely going to be using that myself, and I'm going to bring it over. Me and Barbara are going to share it all across the greater Phoenix area. Oh, I see Eileen. Eileen, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I think it was a couple of months ago, I met a woman who was out there with her sign for the first time in her life. She was 100 years old.
Oh, that's awesome. That's lovely. And it just reminds me exactly like why we do this work. I know Wolf members, we have members who are 20 years old, and we also have Wolf members who are 99 years old. That is the kind of organization that we are. Open doors to anyone just starting at 90, at 20, just starting at 100. That's the kind of work we want to create. Oh, I see Mike, but Mike is really Barbara. Hi, Barbara. What's up?
Hi. I want to mention that actually on Valentine's Day, Greater Phoenix will be tabling at an event at ASU, which is a forum and festival, used to be called a teach-in. But we are going to be participating in a global Peace Poetry Marathon, which is coming up way into October, but we are doing a preliminary poetry reading. And I am guessing that we will probably talk about the fact that we all need tenderness, which is the theme of this poetry marathon, and that there may be things that hurt, and we have poems about things that hurt, but we also have poems about love. And we're hoping we get a lot of participation and get people really involved for when we do the real thing in October. That's it.
Oh,
Thank you,
sounds like
Barbara.
a lot of potential new members too as part of our Valentine recruitment drive.
And that's why you included that picture of me and Barbara, because we're trying to spread love, okay? You had little hearts around us. I loved it, okay? Well, we only have two more items on the docket for today, and I know that it's getting to the end of our session, 6 minutes left, so I'm going to roll through them, okay? The first thing I wanted to share, and let me go back to my screen. Thank you, Linda, so much for walking through the Valentine's Day recruitment drive, the toolkit, everything you will receive in an email tomorrow. It's through our Take Action alert, an e-alert, but for taking action. So I know that for me, I don't always like to do this. I never like to do this work alone, and this work should never be done alone. We have 40 people on this call right now, which just shows that we are community oriented and we care about building this work together. So we have heard that two things. One, you all want more opportunities during the working hours. I know that for folks on this call, we have our East Coasters, our West Coasters. It's getting kind of late for our East Coasters, in my opinion. 7 p.m. is a tough time. So that's why I'm closing down to an hour. But then also, we're going to offer something called a WILF Action Hour. That's going to be during the workday, open to anyone who wants to be a part of it, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, we're still deciding on the frequency of this series. It can be quarterly, it can be monthly. But we also know that the other thing you all wanted was a place to take action. There are plenty of things that you all are working on behind the scenes when it comes to sharing campaigns that are happening that you're signing on to, sharing work that you want to get done, creating an agenda for your next branch member meeting. Whatever that work is, I want to create an hour and a half for us to do it together, where you can hop on, bring your books, bring your work, anything you need to work on, and we can do that together. But for this month, because we're focused on membership recruitment, I would love for us to get together and call our lapsed members. So we have a plethora of lapsed members who have not been reintegrated into Wealth for a while now. And you might have already called your lapsed members this year. I know some groups have already done it. But one of the things I always am able to do is bring you a list of your lapsed membership, folks who have not signed on again in 2025, who might need that gentle reminder, sharing that we're creating this culture of care, this love, this energy, and re-inviting them into that, telling them all about the plans that you have, that we have for 2026, and kind of getting them back involved. I will provide not only your lists, but also a script, techniques and tools. I've been phone banking since, oh gosh, like, and I know we all have, but I've been phone banking for like 8 years now. There is nothing I'm not used to hearing on the phone. I've heard it all. I've heard absolutely anything that someone can tell me on the phone. So anyway, the point is, I'll be providing my own tools, tips, things that folks might need in order to do something like this, and it'll be super fun. We do it together on Zoom, so you're not alone. And when you have moments for like, oh, that call didn't go well, or that call went great, we're able to share those moments with each other. It's going to be really fun. So information about this will be sent out to you soon, but you can put this time and date into your calendar. It would be great to have you. And then lastly, oh, we had two moved into the document. I'm so sorry, Linda. I'm so sorry. I said two, but there was three. Linda, do you want to take this slide?
Yeah, sounds good. We are calling this out because you're going to see these bold kind of statements a lot more. Many of you were involved in our re-envisioning process last year in a focus group, in a survey, in a one-to-one conversation, in a small group meetings. which resulted in our beautiful updated new logo, which is our visual identity, and a new sort of verbal identity where we're going to be speaking about the work we're doing in a more inclusive ways. We're also going to really lean into, during the re-envisioning of one of the resounding themes that came across was our superpower is our feminist analysis. Wilf throughout history has been looking at the issues through a feminist analytical view. And what I mean by that is looking at who holds the power and where and how to shift it. So we've been using the bold statements like these and really leaning into our feminist analysis as one of our unique traits. And what that's done is brought up some questions from some members saying, well, isn't that anti-men, or that's not inclusive? So I really wanted to take this opportunity to share how we're defining feminist analysis at WILF. And I'm going to use an example of this beautiful quote that one of our young Wilfers shared in one of the focus groups that we had when we actually got into this. Well, what is feminism? What is feminist analysis? So I'm going to share my screen and share a slide.
Of course.
Make sure I have the right, yeah, okay, here we go. And I just thought this was so beautifully said, which is why I'm sharing it. It's way better than any dictionary definition. This is Charmene. She is a young WILP US member. She was, she is a Rotary Peace Fellow. Rotary funded her internship with us over the summer. And in one of our focus groups, when we discussed feminist analysis, feminism, is this what we really want to lean into as part of our updated verbal identity and narrative? She talked about, I'm just going to read it even though you can read it too. Feminism opposes power imbalance. The dominant narrative is misunderstood. Feminism is not anti-male because a lot of men also suffer from the same patriarchy that women suffer from. And this next sentence was just so insightful. She's actually a gender analysis expert. She says, in fact, she comes from India. She's studying at Duke right now. In fact, they suffer it harder, men in the country where I come from, where the number of male suicides far outnumber female suicides. It's because the problem is patriarchy. Feminism is such a powerful word. We should hone it, we should own it, and we should not let other people misinterpret it.
Wow.
So I wanted to share this because, as I said again, as we have been putting out our new foot, not new, our revitalized foot forward with, our updated visual identity, our updated verbal identity, leaning into the feminist analysis, feminist movement language. As I said, we've been getting questions from, not a lot, but a few, does this mean we're projecting anti-men? No, this means we are tackling the root causes of imbalanced power. So just wanted to put that out there and sort of, what's the word? Set the record, whatever that term is. So yeah, that's what I had to say on that. And then Shelby, I know I'm up next and I know we're basically at time. So I can just really quickly go, if you can throw up their next slide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
that's
I know
cool.
you've been talking a lot, so I could cover. I feel like you've been
Yeah,
talking
do you
so
want
much.
to
This whole
talk
piece of
about
freedom.
this?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
sure.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh, I am so excited for this. I want to give you all one last sneak peek into something planned that's coming up. Before we wrap, I want to share a quick little intro into something we're really excited about, which is our first ever School of Peace and Freedom event. We've mentioned it before. We actually mentioned it at our last meeting at the end of the year in December. But this is an intergenerational political education space focused on skill building, skill sharing, building the movement, and passing the torch onward from folks who are like super experienced, having 30, 40 years in the movement, to folks who are newer and wanting to come in and find their place and find their purpose here and all these different issues they can be a part of. So we're going to bring longtime organizers, scholars together with emerging activists and folks who have been doing this work for a while themselves to feel ready to learn and just kind of be a part of it and for the long haul.
And
So
I can
Oh,
add,
yes.
every time I do a School of Peace and Freedom, we're going to have a teach-in moment. And I just want to shout out, I think Judith McDaniel is here
She
today.
is, yes.
Yeah, she's going to be leading the teach-in moment. So I'm so excited about that. Stay tuned for more info, and I hope you can come to the first one. It's March the 1st.
Yes, March 1st, we have Judith on the call who will be doing the teach-in moment. We also have two other speakers, Isabel Belmonte, who is a Young Wolf member. She's a scholar and she studies the way gender and policy intertwines with power. And then we also have another Sophia Farah who works for Mondawise, who's also coming. So it's just so many cool things happening. March 1st. Come there and we'll send out the information on how to sign up. So we'd love for y'all to put on your calendar for March 1st. I will not be there actually, though. I'll be flying back to my state. Okay, I'm done.
Well,
No
can
more
I just say one
talking.
other thing?
Yes, please.
Um, yeah, it's going to be, I want to call out, it's going to be attendance by invitation by donation, pay what you can. So whatever you can afford or not, it's meant to be inclusive and accessible by all. But I do want to call out that there's going to be that component. And I also want to sneak in the fact that the reason why Shelby won't be with us is she's getting married. Which is so exciting. You know, we all love you, Shelby, and well, I'll speak for myself. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Not only is it
Love.
Black History Month, period, Black History Month, but also I'm getting married in like 2 weeks. So my family drives me absolutely crazy. So I'm so happy to be on this call right now. I'm so happy to be on this call with y'all. I really am enjoying this. This is much better than my mom's crazy calls saying, "What should I wear? Should it be a long dress, a short dress?" I'm like, "Mom, you already bought the dress. Just wear what you bought." Anyway, this is what I deal with all day. So I'm so grateful you're here. I want to give a big shout out to our new folks who are hopping on the call. I see you. I'm so grateful. Okay, and am I missing anything else, Linda? I know you just passed it over to me, but I'm now concerned. I think I'm good. I think we're good. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So it's 6:05. We're 5 minutes over. I'm sorry. I try to keep it shorter, but thank you for showing up tonight for each other and for this work. February, Valentine's Day is coming up. It's about love, but we're also here for courage, honesty, and building care, a community of care with one another. So let's build this kind of movement that we want to create for the next generation, the generation after, and for ourselves. I'll follow up tomorrow with links, toolkits, and next steps. And until then, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely rest of your day and a weekend that's coming up. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, Linda.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
And
Ellen. Bye,
thank you
Jean.
all.
Bye, Teresa.
Bye.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Woohoo. Bye, Virginia. Bye, Cheryl.
Yes, try to enjoy that wedding day.
I'll try. I'll try. I'm excited for the honeymoon more than anything. So that'll be, yeah. We're going to the Dominicans. That's very fun.